Hello everyone. Welcome to this introduction video to live looping using Cantor. Cantor is a software for music improvisation and live performance and jamming that I started working on around 10 years ago, with the last 4 years to convert it to a standalone version that I can share with other people. And that's finally done now. So this is version 1.0, and in this video we're just gonna take a first look. I'm gonna mess around with a bunch of stuff while explaining what I do, and then later I'm gonna release a more in-depth tutorial where I step through each thing one by one. You should still be able to follow along this video to learn the basics. So if you want to do that, you can download the app from the link in the description. Unzip the file, drag it to your application folder, and that's it for installing. Then you open up the app, and then you see this screen here. I'm gonna select my sound card as input and my headphones as output. An important thing to remember here is that if you use your built-in microphone, then you really need to use headphones, otherwise you're gonna get feedback, because most laptops have the mic and speakers right next to each other. So if you don't have a sound card, use headphones or just select none as input, because you can also just jam with the built-in instruments. Okay, after setting up my ins and outs, I'm gonna press start, wait a couple of seconds for it to start up, and then turn up my microphone volume a bit. Over here, I'm gonna record everything as a multi-track recording. This means that later, if I wanna edit this and just make a change to a specific part, I can easily do that. Okay, since I'm gonna be talking through this video and some of you maybe don't have a microphone, let's start by opening up an instrument here. Let's go with this one called Twig, which is a string simulation. And now when I have this open, I can play it by pressing my computer keyboard keys. I can randomize new sounds by pressing the little dice icon here. Okay, let's record the first loop by pressing space and then space again to stop the recording. So now we have a very short loop here with just one note. Let's hit multiply to make it longer. Then I press space again to start overdubbing another layer. Okay, now let's see what effects we have on the left side. We have a pan that we can set to move by itself. Either with a sine wave or randomly, or both. We have an EQ. Then we have a distortion, and you can randomize it with the dice icon as always. At the bottom we have a crossfader. Then we have a reverb. You can randomize that too. Below that we have a tap delay. And after that we have an effect rack where you can put 4 different effects after each other, and in each slot you can choose from these 32 different effects here. So we can randomize that as well to see what happens. Let's extend the track a couple of times again. And record another layer by pressing space. You can always undo if you mess up by pressing the undo button here. And you can undo all the way back to the first thing you recorded. And also redo back to the last thing you did. Okay, let's filter this track down with the track controls here. Cut off a bit of the top. And then I'm gonna switch to the next track. Let's go with another synthesizer. I'm gonna go with this one called Field. This synth is generating a noise field like this, and when you play it, it draws two circles in the image and it's creating the waveform from the colors along those circles. So let's see what we can find if we randomize it a bit. Now when I record on a second track, the length of my loop is going to be rounded to a subdivision of the first loop I recorded. And you see that size shown by the blinking light here. So let's try to record something that is 5 quarter notes long, so we get a kind of modulating loop on top of this. We can filter this a bit the other way. Let's send it to the reverb send that we can change over here in the settings. Can also set the rounding to something like 1/3 or 1/6 to get some triplets here. Now if I record a short loop, I get something like this. Now I'm gonna send the first 2 tracks to output effects A and the third track to output effects B. So now over here I can filter these 2 tracks down. Can do the opposite with this track. Maybe do some delay on this as well. Now I'm gonna switch to this Pico sampler. I'm gonna switch my microphone to the input again, and then with record enabled here, I'm gonna press some of the keys and make some sound into the microphone at the same time. O, E, O, U, A, O, O. Now if I switch to slice, I can play these new notes with the keyboard. If I change these numbers here, then I can move this blue bar up here. And if I press this green button here, or enter with an empty track selected, then I'm gonna take any sound between the start of the waveform and the blue bar and put it directly into the loop. So you just need to press one time. Okay, so I can just jam, and when I hear something I like, I press enter to throw it into the track. And if I switch to lock here, I'm gonna take the last sample I played and map it to the whole keyboard. Okay. Now we can set this one also to something uneven to get the polymeter. Let's put this at 7. Let's send these two also to output effects B. Okay, let's open up the sequencer and plop in a little sequence here. You can hold shift to quickly add notes with the same distance from each other. And let's open the drum computer here. And we can press kit to randomize a drum kit. I can hold command to adjust the probability of the notes. Over here I can adjust the swing. You can fill up the drum machine with your own samples for randomizing kits by copying the kit template folder in the media folder. Then you name the folder what you want and fill it up with your own samples. Let's open up our field synthesizer again here. Now when we have the drum machine going, we can turn up the ducking here on the tracks to sidechain the kick to push them down. Change the tempo of the individual tracks. Can make this one go a bit faster. A bit slower. Then we can change the speed of everything with this slider here. All the individual track speeds are relative to the main speed here. So the one going backwards is going to keep going backwards, but at a different tempo and so. They always keep the same relation. Bring up the math synth. This one is based on something called tropical additive synthesis. I found a video on YouTube about it and gave it a shot. I'll link it in the description so you can have a look. And let's use the arpeggiator for this one. Set this to 8. You can use the bars over here to window each loop, catch a slice of it. Okay, I think that's enough for this introduction video. We skipped over most things very fast, but hopefully it's enough to get you started. If you know anyone else who you think could be interested in this program, then please share it to them. And I want to keep this completely free without locking anything behind a paywall, and that is simply to make these tools available to as many people as possible and not have the money dictate who gets access to it or not. But if you can afford it and you want to support this project and help me keep it free in the future and free for the people who can't pay, then please consider heading over to my Patreon page and supporting me there. Then you also get to try early versions before it's released, and you can give me feedback on what you want to have implemented and everything like that. And a huge thanks to the tiny handful of patrons who's been very patient and supporting me through this development period. I hope this update made it worth the wait. Of course, any feedback is also welcome here in the comments. If there's any feature you are missing from here and want to see implemented, then I really want to know so I can make it as useful as possible for as many people as possible. So please let me know. Have fun looping, and I'll see you next time.